Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hopefully, you guys out there are having a great day. I know I'm having a great day. And what I wanted to talk about today was something I've kind of strayed away from talking about. But now that I've talked to more Christian rappers, and I've talked to people who are really, godly people and good people, even if they're not necessarily traditionally religious, they're good people. I wanted to talk about how Christianity changed my life and how it did and what exactly happened practically. Because I feel like a lot of people, when they talk about Christianity, they talk about like the things that more spiritual talk about what they felt like. I've seen a lot of videos like that, and it kind of turned me off to it when I was really young. It turned me off to it as like, I don't know, this whole idea of spirituality. It just wasn't the right bridge for me to cross over and be like, all right, these are the things I could take away from Christianity. There was one YouTube channel, I forgot what it was called, but I remember there was this guy talking about how it would be helpful in practical life and practical situations. And that changed forever. And what I learned that maybe if you learn what all the urges are, and you learn exactly which urge you're feeling right now, maybe if you identified that and you did all these things, you can actually get to where you want to go. Which, what does that even mean? Where do you want to go? That was my point. Where do you want to go? And for a lot of Christians, it's heaven. For me, it's not necessarily heaven. For me, that feels, every time I say that, and every time I feel that way, I kind of get turned off to it. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a traditional Christian in terms of that. Definitely not. But so I get turned off to that when I think about Christianity as the goal is heaven. I think about it as the goal is to put one foot in front of the other. And maybe after walking down, right? After walking for so long, after putting one foot in front of the other, walking for so long, I could reach so many roads that I'm officially a man. I'm not even officially a man, but at least I can consider myself one. Because of proof. Because proof does matter, and even in Christianity and all these ideas of spirituality, it's like that is so valid, that is so true. Yes, that is legitimate advice. I do believe that, and it definitely helped the person that's talking about it. But for me, what really helped was the legitimacy. I wanted to know exactly what is real about it, what is, almost scientific about it. And there are certain things that are, certain things aren't, but other things, there is literal proof. And you can create the proof too for yourself, to prove to yourself that you're a person that is worth taking care of. You're a person that is worth believing in. That's what really changed and shifted from even reading the Bible. What changed was I became this person that started to not just like love myself in the generic way. I feel like that's oversaid. The idea of you should love yourself more. You know what I mean? Like, you're a good person. Love yourself. Not even that. Give myself a reason to love myself based on my decisions, right? Because a lot of the Bible is decision based. A lot of it, from what I've read, a lot of it is decision based. It's not necessarily only about the thoughts you have and the urges you have. That's normal. The idea of we're all sinners, that's okay. It's the decisions we make because of that, right? And scientifically, we have I know I'm going to sound like someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, because I don't, but I know we have the animal part of our brain. We have our animal instincts of fear and hunger, right? And lust. I get that. We do have that for sure, obviously. If you don't, maybe there's something wrong. You know what I mean? But what's the difference between us and the animals? The difference is obviously, at the forefront, it's our conscious. It's the fact that and in Genesis, the way they talk about how Adam and Eve become conscious, that changed a lot for me. Because I was like, wait a minute. Bit the apple, became conscious that they were naked. I was like, that's so interesting. It's such an interesting idea that they become conscious. That's so, I mean, I love that story. I really, really do. I think there's so much in there to dissect in that story, just like there is in everything that it influenced. You know what I mean? Or almost everything it influenced, like Shakespeare. When you talk about she bit the apple, right? That she wasn't supposed to bite. I mean, she was right there. She wasn't supposed to bite it. It was so close. She bites it. Damn it. Right? Now she's conscious. And that's what God, I find that to be interesting. Why would God not want them to be conscious? Right? That's something that's so interesting to me. Why would God not want them to be? Why not bite the apple? Why not be conscious? Because every other animal isn't. Now you understand your flaws. A dog is a very innocent being. You know what I mean? Just the essence of a dog, like a pet like that, especially one that you love, you know what I mean, and maybe loves you back, right? It's such a valuable thing, having a dog like that. But with us, a lot of people I know especially, they would treat the dog with care, and more care that they would treat themselves. Or if they were in a relationship, same thing. I knew a lot of people like that in a relationship where they would try to treat the person they're with better than they treated themselves. Maybe because they thought they didn't deserve it. Maybe they thought it was, they thought this person was objectively better, or they didn't think about it at all. You know what I mean? It was just a subconscious reaction from some other trauma. You know what I mean? Whatever it was, the case is still there. The reason, despite the reason, right? You can get that out of the way. The decision was made. And this is what I really wanted to talk about. That's what Christianity changed for me. Was I always thought that it was a spiritual first, because everybody I saw and everybody I knew, even family, would spiritually get into it first, and then would branch out into understanding the logic of it and trying to understand that. And some of them didn't even understand the logic of it. I find the hypocrisy of Christianity to be terrifying, not with Christianity itself, but with the people who claim themselves Christian. I don't even claim myself Christian, because how can I? That's what it feels like. It feels like, how can I claim myself a Christian? I've made so many mistakes, and not just have made so many mistakes, for me not to make those mistakes, for me to make mistakes I didn't even know were mistakes. Because you read that book, you go deep into it. It's not like all of us make mistakes. It's okay. It's like, well, there are certain topics, or rather certain stories, that are so specific to something that I didn't even realize was a problem that I had. Even wrath. Wrath is a great one. I didn't realize my anger, how much that affected other people, how much it affected me. Right? And not only like my stress levels and things like that, but also how I used it almost as an excuse to get out of work, which I was like, that's so interesting. I actually get out of work, to get out of the things that I thought I should be doing, not just what I wanted to, my urges. And one of my urges I didn't even realize was getting into arguments, was because I get a dopamine spike out of it. I love being right. So to any way I could prove that I'm right and correct, I would take that chance. And I did take that chance so many times to waste so much time. To be a Christian. I mean, Nietzsche said that there's only one true Christian, and he died on the cross. Now, I don't know what a lot of people think about that quote, because I don't even know what I think about it. It's so piercing, the idea of that there was one Christian. Right, and like I said, I'm okay with other opinions. That's another thing I think Christianity gets a bad rep for, is that they're not okay with other opinions. They're not. But in the book, it says we all could be. Right? It says we all could be okay with others' opinions, with other with other ideologies flowing in and out. Like, that's not, as long as it doesn't affect decision. But if it affects your learning and you want more knowledge, of course, if it affects your decision in a negative way, stop doing that thing. I think that's the obvious advice. You know you should stop doing it. I don't even need to tell you, right? But when it comes to new knowledge, the Bible doesn't tell you to close your eyes. Ever. I mean, you guys drop in the comments any type of quote that's like that. That in the Bible it says to close your eyes to knowledge or to things that you think are going to help you. Right? Knowledge-based decisions is what I did not know. I didn't know that was a big portion or can be a big takeaway from the Bible for sure. Or different stories from the Bible. Knowledge-based decisions. I was like, I thought there was no logic. I had thought when I was a little kid, I was like, yeah, it's just mumbo jumbo, right? I don't even know. You know what I mean? I know it's important. I know it's very basic stuff. I didn't realize how deep it goes. And these stories, how much we can read into it and how much we have read into it. How much of it is a mystery? That's the problem, is that like you can read into Oppenheimer, but Christopher Nolan can tell you what he meant by X, Y, and Z, whatever line. We don't know. It's just this text, and we're reading it, and it's just this mystery text. Yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable. All right. So on that note, I'm going to end the YouTube video here. If you enjoyed, consider watching some other ones. I come out with these every single day. So, see you guys tomorrow.